Welcome back everybody. Today we're gonna play Deadlock on ascent. Today is day 71 of playing every agent on every map. Today's agent Deadlock has recently gotten a huge buff. I think from the first time I played Deadlock, I've always liked her Grafnet the most, and it is probably one of the most broken abilities in the game. And now that it is on a 40-second cooldown, it is even more effective. You can use it to stop pushes, you can use it to play aggressive, you can use it in so many different ways, and it being on a 40-second cooldown allows you to use it even more, and you can use it for a lot of different plays in one round. Especially good combined with any damaging util. Today's agent Deadlock has recently gotten a huge buff. I think from the first time I played Deadlock, I've always liked her Grafnet the most, and it is probably one of the most broken abilities in the game. And now that it is on a 40-second cooldown, it is even more effective. You can use it to stop pushes, you can use it to play aggressive, you can use it in so many different ways, and it being on a 40-second cooldown allows you to use it even more, and you can use it for a lot of different plays in one round. Especially good combined with any damaging util, and especially good with the new agent Tejo, because Tejo's mollies do a lot of damage, and it is pretty hard to escape from a Deadlock Grafnet at the same time as you're getting mollied, so you're gonna get at least 1 or 2 kills if you Grafnet and Tejo molly somebody. Starting off with A-side defense. On A-side defense you can play pretty aggressive in the beginning of the round. You can use, for example, a Grafnet right here. As soon as you hear somebody stepping, you can throw the Grafnet, and then use some damaging utility, for example a Raise Nade or a Tejo molly, to get the people that are playing close and to do a lot of damage to them. You can also do that off of the contact of the ult orb, so if they take the ult orb, you throw your Grafnet like this, but you have to kind of worry about people playing close here or just walking up past the ult orb, and you can get killed by that. Another thing you can also do is, if you know they are coming here, most likely, because they did it like a couple of runs before as well, you can just use a Grafnet like this, pretty deep. It will not catch all of the people, especially not if they just run through, but if you get people that are playing close here, and if you then use, for example, a Raise Nade, even a Raise ult, or some Tejo mollies, they're gonna take a lot of damage. Similar things can also be done with, for example, a Brim ult. Going back, you can then use a wall in main, for example right here, and as soon as you hear they are trying to break the wall, for example if they're knifing it, you can throw your Grafnet here close, and then you can just spray at the people that are playing close, trying to break the wall. This is especially good if they break it with a knife, because then they're gonna be close and you can just get some free kills like that. Like this, you also stop the enemies from pushing out in a pretty fast way, because first they have to break your wall, after that they're gonna be Grafneted, so they can't push out and your team has time to rotate back over. Other things you can do on a Deadlock are, for example, the stun sensors. You can put them right here in this corner to stun anyone that is coming out towards this direction, or just stun anyone in general that is coming out of main. You can then use other stun sensors, for example right here, to stop the people that are trying to go over towards the switch area. And you can play off of these 2 stun sensors here in short. You need to have somebody that holds behind you though. You can then just peek out and collect your free kills. Even if a smoke is here, you can usually just spray or peek out a little, check for somebody, then go back and spray them, because they are stunned, they're not going to be able to move that fast, and they're going to be a free kill. Other things you can also do is use a stun sensor right here to stop the chat that is usually pushing towards Chen right here, and to make the chat stunned. Another thing you can also use is another stun sensor over here. This stun sensor does basically the same thing, it's just in a different position, so it is less predictable. You can play off of stun sensors that are placed at Chen from down here. Just know if the enemies are playing slow, you don't have any information over the map. So they can walk out all the way up here and then even go towards heaven if you're the only one on the site. But in general, this spot is a pretty good spot to play off of your stun sensor, because you can see the people that are going towards switch, and you're not going to get smoked off that easily. Other things you can also do is to jump spot from behind here. As soon as you see somebody, you throw a Grafnet like this, and you catch the people that are playing in main. This is a pretty safe thing. You can also use the jump spot back here, because this one is even better, because you get pushed down by the roof right here, and you're gonna be able to get a lot of information over main. Another stun sensor you can use is one towards short right here. Use one like this, and then you can play close here. As soon as somebody walks in, you can peek out and collect your free kills. For that one, I recommend you have a smoke right here though, to stop the people that are playing in short to kill you, because it is a pretty common thing. As soon as somebody goes in, the rest of the people are coming in too, and you're only going to stun the first, maybe the second person as well, and the rest of them are just going to be waiting for you or running in after them. To counter that, you can also use a graph net as well. After your stun goes off, and then you can collect your free kills, because they either have to take the graph net out and they are stunned, or the people that are trying to help the person that is stunned right here is going to be graph netted, and you can collect some free kills. Switching over towards mid. On mid, I don't really recommend you use your stuns. You can use one right here to get not really info, but to hold mid. If people are walking up, they're gonna get stunned, and you can peek out and collect your free kills. You're not gonna stun all of the people, especially not the people that are coming here close, so always be ready for them. And you can play in this close corner here, which is a great off angle to stop the people from coming in, and then just peek out as soon as your stun sensor goes off. Another stun sensor I really like is one like this. Just be aware it can also stun yourself, so you play close here, wait for the stun to go off, then you peek out and collect your free kills. Similarly, on B, you can use a stun sensor close here. By the way, you can also wall off mid. It is a thing you can do. I don't really recommend doing it, because you also limit yourself from taking the mid space again after. Switching over towards B, again, this stun sensor is a pretty good one, especially for people that are coming out this way, looking towards the stairs angle. And this is the exact spot where you're going to play off of this stun sensor. Place one right there, and the second one right here. So the people that are coming in towards stairs are going to get stunned. You can collect your free kills, and then when the people are trying to hit side, you can wait right here for your stun sensor to go off and collect your free kills. You can also use a graph net in towards main, for example like this, combined with some other util. Again, Raise Nade works great, Take Your Mollies work great as well. Or you can also throw that off of the contact of the ult orb right here, just by throwing it through this window and catching anyone that is playing in main, which is a pretty good thing, especially if they have damaging util. Other than that, you can also use stun sensors close here on switch to stun anyone that is coming towards switch. Similarly, like this one, or even like this one. And for these three stun sensors, I recommend you play in towards market, and then you just spray off the noise you hear, or you peek out a little, but peeking out is a pretty risky thing. If you want to peek out, I recommend you either wall like this, you either graph net like this, or you wall main like this before you peek out. But that's gonna take some time, so either have your wall out from the beginning if you know you want to go for that play, or have your graph net out, throw it, and then peek out and collect your free kills. Similar things on site. If you just wanna hold on towards site, you can use stun sensors like these, or like these ones. And then you play in backside, wait for the people to come in. You can even play over here, hold the people. I recommend you play over here though, or all the way in this corner, and then you peek out and collect your free kills on the people that are stunned by this sensor and the sensor close here. For walls, I've already shown you the main wall. You can also use a one that is a little bit deeper in, one like this. This wall is also really good, because even if they break this one, they can walk through sometimes, but they firstly need to jump. And secondly, there's not much space where they can go through. You can just hold down your spray, especially if there's a smoke in main, or if you are smoked off right here, you know you only have to aim right here. If they break the full wall, you can just use a graph net and then spray towards it. But in general, just using a wall like this and then spraying right here should net you some kills. Switching over towards attack. On attack, you can do something that is pretty, I don't want to say stupid, but it can work sometimes, is you use a stun right here. This is a thing I've seen in a pro play game. This one is especially good if the enemies decide to play aggressive on A main. So if you play, for example, against a team that really likes to push out aggressively, using a stun sensor right here is a good thing. Do not use your stun sensors as flank trips, because in 9 out of 10 times they're not going to get any value, because most of the time the person that is flanking is sneaking either way, and they are pretty predictable to be used as that. Then other things you can do is, firstly, you can use your graph net here for the vine area if you know somebody is here, but most of the times it's not worth using it like this. I actually have Killjoy lineups for this map, and since Killjoy and Deadlock have the same weight on their mollies, for example, a Killjoy molly flies the same way as a Deadlock graph net does, you can use a Deadlock graph net like this one. because that Deadlock Revenant lands right here in the back and catches people that are playing towards the area back here behind Chen. So they're gonna be caught and they're gonna have a hard time getting out. This is in general a pretty good thing, especially if you have another Killjoy lineup or a KO lineup that it comes to the same place. Other things you can do if you don't have any lineups is you just in general throw it towards Chen or throw it towards Dice. But if you throw it towards Chen, as you can see, you can sometimes miss it, so a lineup is better for that. And if you want to be really consistent, you can also just throw it back here or throw it on the other side. But throwing it over is usually gives you the best results. If you know somebody is in the corner, for example, either behind this box or behind this box up here, you can also use a Deadlock Raftnet, and then you can just spam them through these corners and do a lot of damage to them. Similarly also to the close corners right here, if you know people are there. Else I wouldn't recommend you use your Grafnet. But since your Grafnet is on a 40-second cooldown right now, which is, for me at least, a pretty like not too long amount of time, because Deadlock Raftnets are like really good. They firstly give you information, secondly they make you crouched, thirdly it is really hard to get out, especially if you have instant util combined with them, and most of the times if you are Grafnetted and the enemies know where you are, you're gonna die. So using your Deadlock Raftnet on a specific enemy is a good thing, because you can get it back in after like another 40 seconds, so it is a pretty good thing you can use. Similarly, you can also throw it towards here, in towards the tree area, or when you're closing the door, throw in a Deadlock wall as well, so they have to break the Deadlock wall first, and then they can break the door, so it's going to be harder for them to retake. You can also use your Deadlock wall over towards heaven, but make sure you throw it right. If you throw it wrong, it might firstly bounce down. Secondly, as you can see right here, they still have to break two parts of the wall. If they just break this one, they're going to be really limited to just this spot right here, and they're not even going to get out. So make sure to throw it deep enough. If you throw it like over here, they only need to break one, and they can even break that from a pretty safe spot. So it is easier for them to get back in towards the side. So throwing it deeper is a better idea. Something you can also use, especially on post plants, and that is where the Deadlock sensors are doing their job their best, is to throw a Deadlock sensor right here and then play here. You can then, as soon as you they are either shooting in heaven, you can just start spraying through this wall in the back area or in the front area, because the people are going to be stunned that are coming out, and it's going to be pretty hard for them to get down towards the side. Other things you can also do is use a stun sensor here for the people that are coming out of the door area right here, or use a stun sensor over here to stun anyone that is trying to jump down, and then you yourself play down here, wait for them to go for the jump down, and you collect your free kills. In 9 out of 10 times, I would recommend you use your stun sensors on the side after you plant it, so you should also be the person that is planting, because most of the times you're going to have to get to site either way, and your wall and your Grafnet are really good stopping utility, so you being on the side is in general a pretty good thing. Switching over towards mid. Mid is a pretty simple thing to take as a Deadlock. Firstly, you can just jump spot main, and then you can use, if you get some information from example Isova, you can use a Deadlock Grafnet like this into mid or into short. If you know somebody is playing in short, you could just throw it close here. Same thing also if you're coming from here, you spot somebody, throw a Deadlock Grafnet like this. No real lineup required, just make sure it lands about there, and it makes it impossible for the enemies to get out. You can also throw a similar Deadlock Grafnet towards bottom mid by just throwing it up here. It will bounce once and land right in the middle. You can also use that one a little deeper, or if you know somebody is close here, Deadlock Grafnet them here, same thing with the other side as well. Then you can also throw it deep, especially if you have a smoke right here. And one thing I learned from a pro game that is insanely strong, doesn't matter which side you are going, if you take the mid control right here and you are playing a Deadlock, you can use a barrier like this to stop the people from pushing flank. You need to throw it better than I did, but in general, having a Deadlock Grafnet land around here will block the enemies from rotating from A towards B and the other way around, and it makes it really hard for them to fast rotate, especially if you have all the mid control. So going down mid, using a Deadlock wall, for example, like this, is a pretty good thing, because you stop the enemies from pushing through the spawn, and you can cut off the rotates pretty easily like that. Once you are into market, first you can also use a Deadlock Graph into market if you know somebody is here. Even if you don't know somebody is here, it is in general a pretty good thing, and combine that with any damaging util. You can get a lot of damage and even some free kills. And then you can just walk out. You can use stun sensors like these to stop the people from behind you from coming out. And using one on this pillar right here is a pretty good one to stop the people from pushing out of CT or make them just stunned when they're pushing out of CT. Similarly, you can use one either like this or even close on this wall right here.
Sound sensor out.
And again, if I'm gonna show you some more once we are getting to the B part. Switching over to SB, you can use a Deadlock Graph here in the beginning of the round if you know somebody is playing close, to catch the people that are trying to cross over and make it almost impossible for them to escape. And in general, this is a pretty good thing if you know the enemies that like to play aggressive on main. Also, you can use a Graph like this to stop the people from getting into main, or just holding you here, for example, with an op, and to stop them from getting away. And both of these Graph are pretty effective. Other things you can also do is use one like this and combine that with your ult if you know somebody is playing close here. But it isn't as common anymore because they reinforce this wall, so you can't wall bang through it anymore. Farming orbs is also a pretty good thing you can do on a Deadlock, because her ult is pretty strong. You can catch one person out of the enemy team, and you can like collect, for example, especially on eco runs, some weapons off of them by just getting a tag with your ult, and then killing the people that are trying to shoot the ult, and getting a lot of damage on the enemies like that. For your wall, on B, I recommend you either throw it towards market and then close the door, or you throw it towards CT and close the door. Either way, both of these walls are pretty good at stalling out the enemies. Or if you know, for example, they are pushing mid and you're the last person in your team, you can always just use a wall either here towards main or even deep towards main. Stop the enemies from pushing flank pretty quickly. Once you're on B, you can use stun sensors like these, even ones like these,
Sound sensor up.
or ones that stop the enemies from coming in like these, or even one over here, or even one on these boxes right here if you get close enough. All of these sun sensors are pretty strong. As soon as they pop, you can start spraying. This is especially good with a Phantom. Or you can also just peek out, get the information, get a kill, or just get the information and wait for them. Because your stun sensors stall them out for a pretty long time. And at that point, you should have even gotten your Graph back, so you can Graph them and stop them even more, and get some free kills on the people that are going to be stunned and Graph which is a pretty deadly combo. If I had to give Deadlock a rating from S to F, I'd actually give her the A tier. That is because Deadlock is, now with her Graph probably one of the best sentinels in the game, even though she doesn't have any passive information over the map. A map like Ascent is dominated by defaulting, but having a Deadlock in your team can throw the enemy people pretty easily off, because you can Graph somebody in a pretty simple way. Deadlock's traps are really annoying to clear out, and most of the times, especially if the enemies decide to play fast, a Deadlock is one of the best sentinels to play in the game. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see any other agents on any other maps, write them down in the comments, and if you want to see anything else Valorant related, write it down there as well. I'm also going to put out a smokes guide on the recently added back ascent soon, so if you don't want to miss that, subscribe, and if you want to support me even further, you can now become a channel member. And as always, you can also come say hi to me on Twitch, where I stream almost daily. Have a great rest of your day, and see you guys very soon. Bye!